Hi everybody, and welcome back to another quickfire album review. This time we go back to 1960 and this album, Elvis is Back. This was Elvis's fourth studio album, but it was the very first one to be recorded in glorious stereo. Now at these sessions Elvis used a condenser microphone, a U-47, which captured Elvis's warm and very improved voice in full clarity. Now the sessions took place between March and April of 1960. There was a little break in between, so Elvis could go and record his segment for the Frank Sinatra Timex special, Welcome Home Elvis. Elvis's band also had expanded. We still had DJ Fontana, we still had Scotty Moore and the Jordanaires, but they were joined by Floyd Kramer on piano, saxophonist Boots Randolph, we had Bob Moore on bass. He replaced Bill Black, who had a pay dispute with Colonel Parker, so he was let go, and although Elvis was really upset, he knew he had a good bassist in the form of Bob Moore. They were also joined by another lead guitarist and a prolific guitarist, Hank Garland. Now there's a very interesting and very sad story associated with Hank Garland. In 1961, 1 year from this album here, he was coming back from a recording session with Elvis, and he had a very serious car accident, and he was never able to play the guitar ever again, and it signaled the end of his career and indeed his association with Elvis. Very, very sad loss. The album went to number 2 in the USA, went to number 1 in the United Kingdom. There were some songs that were released from the sessions which weren't on the album. They were classed as standalone singles like Stuck on You, It's Now or Never, and they all went to number 1. However, many years later, FTD released it on a CD compilation, which is here, and it contains a lovely little booklet inside here with loads of information about the recording sessions. And just have a look at that album cover there. A man around about this time was walking around with his natural colour. I know it looks dark there, but he was actually a blonde, and the album cover is very striking, very clear, and it's so much better than this album, which I will be pulling out every so often because I cannot stand it. During this time, Elvis was in the army, he met Charlie Hodge, who would be on stage many times with Elvis in the 70s, and we're very familiar with Charlie Hodge. He helped Elvis with his voice, with his breathing technique, with his delivery, and instilled confidence in Elvis's voice so that he could hit these high notes, and he could put more dynamic qualities into his vocal abilities to release Elvis's potential in that magnificent voice of his. And that's very evident in songs like It's Now or Never and It Feels So Right. It Feels So Right from these sessions. Two different types of songs. One is operatic and soprano, the other one is hard rock. But if you listen to those two songs, you get some sort of idea on how wonderful Elvis's voice had improved pre-army days. His vibrato was absolutely on point. It wasn't woolly, it wasn't fluttery, it wasn't like a sheep. It was marvellous. I'm struggling to think of a better time in Elvis's vocal career where he sounded absolutely fantastic regarding the vocal. Now, the album covers many different genres of music like rock, pop, blues, to name a few. And there is an interesting song on this album called Dirty Dirty Feeling. Now this song was written by Leiber and Stoller, originally in 1958, and it was to be included in the film King Creole, but for some reason or another it wasn't included. But Elvis remembered the song, liked it, and commissioned it to be included in Elvis is Back. It's a great rock and roll number, I love it. It's a little bit too short, but I'm glad it was included here. This album is one of 3 albums that you must have in your Elvis collection. The first one is the Sun Sessions, Elvis is Back, and From Elvis in Memphis in 1969. For me, I'm going to review those albums at some point and give you my opinion on those albums at a later stage. However, it's over to you. Tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care.